So Mike Ejeagha in his song is saying that once in a while, it is good for anybody at the helm of affair to stand down and look back at what it is they've been doing, so that everybody will bring their contribution, everybody will say their grievances, everybody will say where things have not been going on right as a way of solving a problem and not grandstanding. And to our government, do not go us, please. As these protests, as the people are demanding for better governance, sit down, look at those things. Start by cutting the cost of governance, and we'll tell you how. Hello, wonderful viewers, most revered Nigerian people, Africans. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for all your subscriptions. Thank you for your belief that Africa will walk again. Today, I want to be your interpreter. I want to try my best to make you understand the meanings of a trending song of Igbo origin in Nigeria. That song has recently become a trend, a TikTok trend. Many people vibe to it. Many people do the challenge as projected by B.Jotter, but they really do not understand the meaning of the song. That song is a folk tale. It's called Akụkọ n'Egwu, meaning stories in songs, a way the traditional people of the Igbo tribe in Nigeria used to pass messages in those days and to drive home certain points and certain things they feel cannot be just said. Those days, strong meanings are embedded in proverbs, in adages, in songs, in certain expressions. And when those expressions are invoked, you begin to understand that it has gone beyond the ordinary. It's become a matter of importance. I'm going to try my best, and I want you to judge my interpretation. Put in the comment section what you think. Let's see if we can draw certain lessons from that trend as we relate it to the African government and its people. That song that people have popularly called Ngwo. Do you understand what that means? I hope I'll help you understand. Before I continue, I want to pay tribute to Mike Ejeagha, the original owner of that song. I want to also acknowledge B.Jotter, who in recent times brought it to limelight. The song type is a mixture of ogene and udumod. Those of you of the Igbo extraction will understand. Even though in recent times African music has been turned into Afro culture, Afro pop, Afro reggae, Afro different things, but basically ogene, the tinenen sounds you hear, and udumod. Those are the type of songs that are sung in twilight by the fireside or tales by moonlight. Now that song started with the chorus, and that phrase in it that has caught many people, the go. You might not understand that chorus until the very end of that music, the last stanza of the story. That is when you will understand the chorus. It's a story that tells of betrayal, that tells of the tragedy of a misplaced trust. It's a friendship between the elephant and the tortoise. And they two both had a singular interest. That interest was to get married to the daughter of the king, Adaeze. Ada is the first daughter, usually the first daughter, and Eze. So those days we gave names based on the inclinations, the activities, or what is surrounding the people involved. So people bear names like Adaeze. Adaeze means the first daughter of a king. Then these two creatures were interested in getting the daughter of the king. Meanwhile, the daughter of that king had stayed a long time in the father's home without being married, until the father one day summoned the family to inquire and to find out what exactly is the problem. Why are you not getting married? Why is it that the first suitor will come and you will not agree? The second suitor, the third suitor, you rejected all their proposals. And then these two creatures are also there in the mix. But the tortoise always is very cunning, always a schemer, always finding ways to cheat, to supplant, to have an undue advantage over other people. So the daughter of the king had told the father that unless any of his suitors came with an elephant, such that on the day of the ceremony, she will be on the elephant like a horse, indicating that she is the daughter of the king, like the celebrants, a daughter of a king at that. So she had demands, aesthetic demands. So remember that this folktale are stories that were conceived in the very olden days, when the quality of life is not what it is today, when there's no advancement in technology, so it's assumed that most people who would be her suitors, or most men who were coming for a hand in marriage, may not be able to have the wherewithal to come with such enormous gifts as a horse or an elephant in this case. So the tortoise quickly ran to the house of his friend, the elephant, and he told him a story in deception. He deceived him to say that the king is going to buy Ofala. Those of you know what Ofala is in the Igbo culture, please put in the comment section. Ofala is a traditional ceremony. So he was made to believe that he's going to be the chairman in that ceremony. That is why the singer says, ony'isi oche. You will see how the supposed chairman, in this case, the chairman is the elephant, because the tortoise had told him that in the king's program of the day, he is going to be the chairman of the day. And he was startled, like, are you serious? Do you mean what you're saying, that I am going to be the chairman of the ceremony? And you know, the convincing prowess of the tortoise, he swept him off his feet and he believed him. In preparation, he was so happy. So he had told him that he will be the chairman. So the songwriter is saying, in this story, anyway, I'm going to start stanza by stanza to interpret them for you. So he had believed him and preparing, not knowing that the tortoise had planned to use him as the supposed any elephant that is needed for that ceremony. Being that he had the interest, it was a big thing to come close to the king. It was a big thing to have access to the king's palace if you are not a member of his cabinet. And then more especially if you wanted the daughter's hand in marriage. Moreover, this creature have been crushing on the king's daughter. Happily, he agreed to the proposal of his friend, the tortoise, who promised to escort him to the king's palace to introduce him to the king as the chairman of the occasion. Unfortunately for the elephant, the tortoise tricked him and used him to secure the position of the husband to the daughter of the king. In the story, you will hear exactly how he was able to achieve that. So I just gave you a summary. Let's get on to see if we can interpret it line by line as sung by Mike Ejeagha. This is the chorus, and I'm going to interpret the chorus at the end so that you understand it. The song started with the chorus, but you will not understand the context until towards the end of that story. The story starts. If you listen, you will hear how the chairman, ony'isi, the chairman, is a ridiculous title. The chairman, in this case, the elephant, is a ridiculous title. He wasn't actually the chairman, but someone gave him the fake title and he took it up. So the ony'isi. If you listen, you will understand how the supposed chairman was betrayed, sold out. Now, usually when folk tales are told, there is always an expression that follows. When your grandparents tell you these stories, there are repetitions that you are expected to make. In this case, it's Ngwo. And most times these repetitions are taken from the behavioral pattern of the characters involved in the story, or the sounds they make, or a jeering expression. In this case, Ngwo is like the gigantic walking of the elephant and the sounds he makes. Like when we say Ogodogo, when somebody is a giant, we say the person is Ogodogo. Then when people talk small, they say cho-cho-cho, things like that. So when folk tales are told, to keep the whole thing lively, the people listening are usually told to repeat some expressions in confirmation that they are understanding the story. So I will assume that in this case, Ngwo is the call and the response that the people listening to the story are expected to repeat. So, or a mockery of the gigantic creature, the elephant, who thinks that he cannot be fooled. Let me just put it like that, because there is no clear-cut meaning in words of Ngwo, 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 Ngwo. So it's an expression that depicts a kind of mockery. Then there are words, certainly, that may not have exact meanings, but in context, we understand the message. There are many of them. But if we are even to follow Ngwo, 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 Ngwo in Igbo language, Ngwo can be something like conjure, heal, treat, cook, make, but I don't think that's what is used in this particular instance. I think this one is more like an expression. So that Ngwo is your own part of the response. So it's just a mockery of the big man that was deceived. Now the story starts. Adeze, kadi biakatalo, biakatalo means that husbands kept coming for Adeze. Onye nubia oju, onye alabia oju. Dick, Tom, and Harry came and she refused. All forms of creatures, both the ones that live on the trees and the ones that live on ground, came and she refused. There came a day that the father called her to the Obi of the Eze. Obi is the Eze's hut, what we'll call the palace of the king. Called the mother, called the brethren, his brothers and sisters, and every of their kinsmen. That's every member of the family where she's involved. Why is it that the first suitor came, you refused, second suitor came, you refused, even to the fourth one? Mbo abia ejo. Nkabo mbo is 1, abo is 2, eto 3, eno 4, ejo. You refused and rejected all the suitors. But that he would want the host family to witness her wedding. Now this is a piece of advice in the song. The singer just stopped a bit in the story to offer an advice that it's usually good for the head of the home, the leader of any organization, any person who is a head anywhere, to once in a while stop the business of whatever it is they are doing to find out, to appraise whatever they have been doing, their successes so far, the grievances of people, their suggestions, so that everybody will be on the same page. So he is talking about what the father of the bride, supposed bride, did by stopping all the name calling and whatever to say, okay, for once, let's find out what is the problem of this our daughter. So Mike Ejeagha in his song is saying that once in a while, it is good for anybody at the helm of affair to stand down and look back at what it is they've been doing, so that everybody will bring their contribution, everybody will say their grievances, everybody will say where things have not been going on right, as a way of solving a problem and not grandstanding. He says it is by this that families will understand themselves, organizations will understand themselves, siblings will understand themselves. By just sitting together to look at things critically, this is how we can understand ourselves, whether at family level or any other level. So in that meeting, Adeze requested that anybody who would be her suitor would have to come with an elephant, such that if there is any ceremony in her father's house, she'll move around on the elephant to prove that she's the princess, the Adeze, the Ada of the king. That time it looked like a very Herculean task. It says, as the discussion was going on, or in the whole saga, the tortoise had gone for the hand of the bride, the princess, in marriage, and they gave him the chase of his life, like a run. As in, they gave him a hot chase to the extent that his legs were touching his head, or his legs were not touching the ground. You know, it's an expression to show that it was a big rejection. Meanwhile, the elephants and the tortoise were good friends. The tortoise had gone there with the mission to brainwash the elephants. So what he did was that he went straight to him and said, the king is planning an Ofala festival. There is no English name for Fala. If you know an English name for Fala, please write it in the comments. Let's know. It's an Igbo tradition or festival or feast, whatever. The name is Ofala. And that the king had requested that he be the chairman. He said that the king is planning a program, and in that program, you are going to be the chairman. It was like, what did you just say? What did you just say? He said, yes, I mean what I said. The king said to tell you that in this feast, in this program, you are going to be the chairman. But that in that deal, you must be present and you cannot be absent. We must not look for you. You see the emphasis to ensure that this man doesn't change his mind. This elephant doesn't change his mind. The deceit. Because that he will be the one to bless the kola and serve the kola to the visitors. He's giving him reasons why he should not be absent on the big day. The elephant was so happy, because he has been looking for a way to get closer to the king's home because of his interest on the princess. Because of his interest, you know, the elephant has been crushing on the princess, on Adaeze, and wanted a medium to get closer to him. Those of you that are in love, you know and understand the scenario. So he's been looking for opportunity to come closer to the palace, and he felt, oh my God, opportunity presents itself. As soon as he left the elephant's home, he headed straight to the king to tell him, this is the day I am coming for your daughter's hand in marriage. He had settled this side. He was sure that the elephant was going to be ready for that day. Then he moved straight to the king to say, this is the day I'm coming for your daughter's hand in marriage. And the king inquired, are you aware of my daughter's request? And he was like, forget it. Don't mention. That day, by the time I come, whatever you see, you take. Like, leave it for the day. Don't be surprised. That day, anything you see, you take. Oh my God. When they call the tortoise a schemer, this is where you will understand it. On the third day, the tortoise went very late to the elephant. Remember, he is the one to bring the elephant to the king. And the elephant had woken up very early, prepared, waiting for him. But he went very late. He had a sinister plan. Because he's slow and the elephant is fast. He wanted a situation to make the elephant feel like we are running very late and we have to hasten up and you have to carry me. He boxed the elephant. Let's go on. So he went very late to the elephant. The elephant was furious, like angered, like, why are you just coming now? I have been ready, waiting for you. How is it that it is today that I'm supposed to be the chairman that I will be late to the ceremony? The tortoise purposely went very late when the sun had gone down. And he replied not to worry, that they're going to hurry up. And the elephant said, okay, let's go, let's go. On their way, the elephant was so worried and he was like, please walk fast, hurry up, let's go, so that it will not be like all the guests wouldn't have gone by the time we get there. You know, the worry of someone whose day is going to be ruined, who has a plan. The tortoise told the elephant that, you know, your legs are bigger than mine. While walking, slow down a bit for me. But the elephant said, no, we have to hurry up. And the schemer tortoise came up with a plan. What is that plan? He said, let me climb to your back. Carry me on your back so that we can be fast. And the elephant, who is in need, agreed and said he should hurry up to his back. Hurry up to climb on his back. Oh my God. As I'm telling you this story, you might not appreciate the enormity of the situation, like the what's at stake. Like, you know, when we do some interpretation, sometimes the seriousness of matters are being watered down, but just manage. Then the tortoise still came up with another plan, another scheme. He just did this, you know, you hear where he said, like he stretched his short leg, you know how the tortoise leg is, and said, elephant, you know my legs are too small to climb. Can we do this next plan? And what's that plan? Listen. He said, because of that, can you please allow me use this rope? It means that the tortoise had the rope already with him because he has finished his plan. He had put up the whole scheme to win the day. So he told the elephant, would you please allow me use this rope to climb as a medium to climb your body? You know, those days when you want to climb up, we use what we call oche. It is a rope that palm wine tappers usually use to climb trees. It's already knotted in a particular style that holds the palm wine tapper. So the tortoise, I'm assuming that's the type of rope he was with, whichever type of rope was not explained. But the story says the tortoise had pleaded with the elephant to use the rope he had as a medium to assist himself to climb up his body, and he agreed. And in the hurry, he said, whatever you are doing, please do it fast. Let's be going, you know. Anyone, whichever one they do, when you do and fast, will come out here. You know, that kind of haste of somebody who feels like I'm losing something. What's at stake? Kamajigo. Sorry. What's at stake? Kamajishi. Kankobo. Instead, the yam no go done, make a firewood finish. You know, that kind of situation. And guess where the tortoise put that rope? On the neck of the elephant. He didn't put on his waist, he put it on his neck and climbed his back. Now this is where you will understand the chorus. they had gotten to the place, the palace, the home of the king. And the tortoise came down. Remember, the rope was on the neck of the elephant. So he held the rope like the way a goat or animal unbound is kept, the way we hold goats in trade, like you went to buy a goat. So there's no way the chairman or the suitor would come with a rope on his neck as a bound person. The tortoise had come with the elephant holding that rope as the gift he brought to the king for her daughter, as was requested. And then he handed the elephant over to the king. This is what I brought for your daughter. And then the king asks, that is what is chorus is saying. Like, my lord the king, I've brought the elephant. But the word used in the song is not I brought. Akpata. Akpata means to bring by all means, to skim out, to lure the elephant. I think it's the writer of the story that would have used that word, because I feel that somebody who is pretentiously bringing a gift to take something else wouldn't say it in a way that he's committed a crime. So, but the song says, Akpata meaning, I've skimmed out, I've lured, I've trapped. It's not Akpata. Akpata is to bring. I think most interpretations were writing Akpata. Akpata is to bring. But the singer said, Akpata. Akpata means I have lured him, I've brought him by all means. I don't know the right word for that. I don't know the right word to use now, but I have lured the elephant. And the king was like, nah. And the king asked Nwambe. Nwambe is the tortoise. Mbe is tortoise, but when we call it Nwambe, it's like that little wise creature. Who did you say you brought? He said, I brought the elephant. So in this context, what I will understand, he says no. As in, the king was perplexed, like, what did you just do? Did you say you lured the elephant? He switched it again to say, Nai, I asked to keep Asiman Yache Beni. I asked the land to keep the elephant, and it looked like I lured the elephant. The sentence didn't really explain it like this, but that is the meaning it's given. Like, the king would have been surprised. What did you just do? What did you just do? And he's changed it again to say, let the land protect the elephant. And now I brought the elephant for safekeeping, and now he's looking like I lured the elephant. Shebi, the elephant is going to be the king. Sorry, it's going to be the chairman. Chairman, you won't be now. You know, mockery. And then there's another aspect of that too. Aside the mockery, when somebody had done something that you're not part of, and they want you to corroborate their lies, and they will say it in a way for you to affirm it. So aside the mockery on the elephant, Shebi, you go be the chairman now. To the king too, he was like, Abi, not be so. The elephant is supposed to be the chairman, whereas it wasn't so. It wasn't the plan. So in the king's perplexity, he's expected to either cover up for the tortoise in playing along or refuse vehemently. The rest is history. Now there's another aspect. When the tortoise told the king that I have brought the elephant, it was shocking to the elephant. Like, seriously, what did you just say? Did you say you brought me? And the tortoise switched it again to say, no, I was just saying that the land should protect the elephant. He just lied about what he said. Like, I'm telling the land to keep the elephant, to protect the elephant, whereas what he had told the king is that I have brought the elephant for the supposed marriage. And lies. You can see lies. One thing about lies is that it will take a bigger lie to cover for the first lie. And it will be advisable that if someone is caught up in a lie, whether voluntarily or involuntarily, on purpose or mistakenly, the best approach will be to nip that lie in the bud, cut it off immediately. Because the moment you just let it be and try to cover it up, it will take a bigger lie to cover up for the first lie, and it keeps going. The cycle keeps going. But one thing is that time has a way of revealing every truth. So it's better to save the day than continue in the lies. So in the process and in the tussle, the elephant had told the king that this is what I brought to have your daughter in marriage. The story did not tell us whether the king finally gave her daughter in marriage, but it connoted that the tortoise met the requirements for owning the princess. So invariably, against his friend the elephant's wish to have the princess, the tortoise won. The tortoise did. And Mike Ejeagha, in the concluding part, gave a piece of advice. Say, you have seen it, follow me. Let's go somewhere. What it can bring, that before you follow someone to anywhere, be sure of where they are taking you to. Be sure of where your government is taking you to. Be sure of fake promises. Be sure of deceit. Now the famous chorus that I said I was going to interpret at the end, it simply says, my lord the king, I have brought the elephant. Maybe the elephant will be the chairman, and it went ahead to say that portion that says it was when they were walking and the tortoise was leading on, cheering on the elephant and saying, elephant, keep moving, I am solidly behind you, or I'm following you, I'm at your back. It simply means I'm solidly behind you, just keep going, like you're really going to be the chairman of the day. Don't forget, this interpretation is based on the song, not on certain textbook and tales or storybooks. I just interpreted it based on the song, the stanzas, and the context it connoted. Now, let's see some of the lessons we can learn from this story. Number one is the issue of identifying the problems. At that point, when the owner of the home called the family meeting to say, let's find out what the problem of our daughter is, they identified the problem. They were able to bring out what the issue is. Problem identification is key to solving any problem. Secondly, constructive criticism. The family was able to tell the selective princess that time is not on your side. You are not doing the right thing by rejecting everybody that comes your way. That is a constructive criticism. They did not absorb her. So when somebody around is doing the wrong thing and you say, please have a rethink, it is also a welcome idea. If we have a government that is running us aground and we are criticizing them, it is a way to development. They should not be like Ony'isi, like the king who said, don't tell me, until he pulled on himself and went outside. And his people did not tell him, he was disgraced, only to come back to say, you guys did not tell me. And they told him, you told us not to ever tell you anything. The next lesson to learn is the issue of pride. We are always caught up by our desires, by what we lost after. Those who would love power and be crazy can do things to keep it. So pride can make people go out of their way to do things that are not acceptable. Pride can make governments grandstand when the people are asking for things. That will be for a greater good and the benefit of every person, including themselves. Now, another thing we understand is that understanding comes from dialogue. It was at that point that the father called everybody, that all of them began to bring up ideas, say their things, and the singer also gave an advice that once in a while we stand down to look at the things we have been doing and see where we are not doing it well, because we cannot be doing the same thing repeatedly and expect a different result. There's also an aspect of that story that looked like revenge. Like instead of you to have her, both of us will not have her. You understand? Looking like the tortoise dished both the girl and the elephant, because earlier he had been rejected. And he now said, let me go and bring the elephant to have her. It looked like both of them didn't. So he spoiled the situation both for himself and for his friend. So there are people like that. And there are governments like that too, that will say, instead of us not to have it, let everywhere spoil. Instead of us to leave power, instead of us to make reforms, instead of us to cut down the cost of government, let the country burn down. We see resilience. Despite the fact that the tortoise has been rejected, he devised another way to succeed. That is resilience. I'm not saying the ways you devise should be negative. It should be a positive one. The tortoise is some creature that has been painted to never ever give up. He will find a way around it. Conflict of interest. Interests are always conflicting, but there will always be a landing point. Every party is expected to shift ground to come to a solution. We see tragedy of misplaced trust. A friend trusted a friend, and the friend took advantage of the trust, and the tragedy occurred. We also see the possibility of taking advantage of opportunities. The tortoise took advantage of the opportunity presented by the princess, who said, until there is an elephant, I will not accept any proposal from anybody. And this creature took advantage of the situation. Approaches that are not clear to the people, to you, issue of many betrayals. You can put your own. These are few lessons we can bring out, from this story. The issue of serious betrayal. How could it be that a friend would be betrayed to such extent? And to our government, do not go us, please. As these protests, as the people are demanding for better governance, sit down, look at those things. Start by cutting the cost of governance, and we will tell you how. Thank you for listening.